Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. My goal is to share my decades of trading experience to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 45,827, down 12.74%. Ethereum 3377, down 13.56%. Now it's really interesting. If you're trading, you may think to yourself, well, why didn't I just buy NEAR or Algo or Rev, anything that's green? The problem is, don't think that way. And if you have partners or loved ones to think that way as well, maybe just let them watch this video. It is impossible to do that. If you think about crypto, it is incredibly volatile. It's really important that a lot of kindness is applied to this particular market. Why is that? Haven't you lost money? If you look at certain things, well, Bitcoin is down 12%. It is certainly down on paper, but if you look at Fidelity's forward projections of Bitcoin reaching $1 million per Bitcoin in 2026 or 10 million in 2030 and onwards, these kind of minor variations in price won't matter too much if you're looking at something like that. The other thing to bear in mind is that the volatility of crypto is so great compared to the volatility of normal stock markets. People think the stock market is incredibly volatile. Crypto is 20 times more volatile, and it's open so many hours, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The interesting thing, or the important thing to note, is in crypto, a 10% drawdown is just any day of the week. It can happen anytime, and 20% drawdowns occur every other week, as do 10% increases on any particular day or 20% increases on every other week. It's important not to isolate the negative. I've hidden knowledge gems throughout this video. Unless you watch to the end, you'll miss them. See how many you can find. Rule 174, T-cube method, trend, timing, and trigger. We're going to look at timing now. Using the KS method, the first thing we do is look at KS zone analysis. KS zone analysis are the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and obtain real wealth. There's a really big difference between Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, and Zone 4. If you feel the requirement to blame yourself or anyone else, that points to being in Zone 2 or Zone 1. If you've moved past blame and you understand the role of probabilities and you can just dismiss it, you're in Zone 3. If you look at what's happened in the current market incredibly positively and say, wow, now I can step in and buy the sharp and falling knives, you're into Zone 3 and Zone 4. Our community seeks to at least get into Zone 3, probabilistic fearlessness, and of course, real wealth in Zone 4. Bruce Lee had a very good quote. He said, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." In truth, life is really difficult. Life throws us curveballs all the time. We could see this flash crash as a curveball and an ability to create strength as well. Larry Elder talked about optimism. He said, optimism is not just a mindset, it's a behavior. When it comes to things like we're experiencing today, optimism is about what happens tomorrow, what happens the next day. Wow, this is a fantastic way to lower my average buy price. I know where Bitcoin is going, you say, and you know the trend because you watch the trend video. You know how the US markets, the stock markets around the world, you know how gold and oil and bonds and yields are behaving, precious metals. You're right on the pulse of all of the markets. You understand what's going on. With that, you can have probabilistic fearlessness, which we could just call optimism. Optimism is the fuel of real wealth. It's really hard to have a positive life with a negative outlook. In the trend videos, we always talk about real wealth first before we do anything. That's setting the sights and targets on meaning plus financial abundance. Jim Rohn also had a very beautiful quote: "Don't ask for life to be easy, ask for life to be worth it." Jim Rohn is an incredibly beautiful human being. I have so much admiration for Jim Rohn. I'd just like to refer a story to you from Rasa, who was very generous on buymeacoffee.com. Thank you, Rasa. Rasa shared a story of beating stage 4 cancer 8 years ago. What an incredible individual. Coming close to death certainly changes people. It makes you focus on what life is truly about. Money is not good when you're not here. There's so much more, so many more important things like meaning. I'd just like to thank everyone that has donated and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. Thank you so much. And to Rasa and all the amazing people in our community, I know Rasa's story is not just the only story like that inside our community. We've got so many incredible people. It's just a wonder how so many beautiful people are all together as one community. The next thing we do is look at Bitcoin in the news headlines. It's very interesting, the market being so blood red. I doubt there's going to be many positive stories, but let's check it out. Civic, CVC, cryptocurrency bearish by 26%. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. As Bitcoin ETF is on the anvil. Ooh, it's getting hammered. Oh, it's getting hammered. Doubts arise over its relevance. It's not relevant anymore because price in Bitcoin went down. Closing bell. Gold hits galore? Really? It's down 8%. Bitcoin gets the blues. I'm not sure about that. I think we're going to have to check this. But he's a cool guy. Look, he's playing a guitar. That's always good. Chromia, CHR, cryptocurrency went down by over 29%. Ooh, that's not good. But of course, we know no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, even down to the second. Chile's cryptocurrency went down over 25%. Oh, look, via news, via news, via news. They've all got such beautiful stories. What's this? BitShares. Oh, they've gone into the market. Cryptocurrency down over 28% in the last 24 hours. Well, that's the way it works. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, even in the stock market. And we looked at the stock market in the trend video. What's this? It's gaining an official market as crypto investors lose? Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Ethereum rival Solana surges 50% in a week. Ooh, I got to buy Solana. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoin, just one, face heavy downside. Oh, biggest test in Bitcoin's 12-year history has a rocky start. There was a test, like an exam. Where did that come from? Why weren't we notified? Bitcoin must be attending university or school or something like that. We can see that the majority of the headlines, of course, are very negative. Now, why would that be? Could it have something to do with a market looking quite red like this? Imagine if all the news stories were totally positive. You would say, what's happened to the news? They're gone bananas. The news just reflects current market sentiment. That's very problematic because they're like Dory in the goldfish bowl. They go around the bowl once and they've forgotten what the outside world looks like. That's kind of the news. That's why you need to keep one eye, one ear, and half your brain turned off when you hear, read, see the news. Because unfortunately, it's just reflecting a sentiment, and generally a fear-based sentiment, which is great for advertisers in the news, which is how they make money, and great for subscriptions, but not so great for your pocket. Okay, let's have a look at this one and fact check the news. We love fact checking the news. This is all about gold and Bitcoin going down. Let's see just how much gold rallied and how much Bitcoin went down. What we do every day is that we look through case Bitcoin. We can see gold is down 8%. Wow, it's really rallying, but it's rallying in a negative direction. What are you doing, gold? Go the other way. Bitcoin is up 356%. Oh, that's not very good. That's very subpar behavior. And the stock market is up 35%. What we can see is that often the news blows things out of proportion. It's really good for selling newspapers. That is why we always fact check the news. We're really keen to see what is actually going on from a longer term perspective, not just the day. If you watch the trend video, you would actually see that the precious metals came down. I discuss quite a few reasons in the trend video to explain why the market may have done what it did. That's from a probabilistic stance, and I think it's quite reasonable too. Let's have a look at a rapid overview of the total crypto market. There are currently 11,602 cryptos in the crypto market. Bitcoin is currently 29.8% away from its previous all-time high. That means if you invest and it reaches back to its all-time high, when it reaches back to its all-time high, it will have increased 42.5%. That's really good. It's always good to keep your eye on this to all-time high column. That can give you a lot of insight into potential returns. Ethereum is down 24.2% from its previous all-time high. Cardano, 24%. BNB 41.8%, XRP 72.6%, and Solana 17.5%, and DOGE 66.7% below. Looking at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio SSR oscillator, we can see that stablecoins are flowing into the crypto market, but the rate now at which stablecoins are flowing into Bitcoin is now starting to decrease. That makes sense when you consider this drop here, but that dropping off is very, very small compared to that very large percentage dropping off in Bitcoin's price. We've said for quite a while that there's a really strong correlation between Bitcoin futures open interest across all exchanges and price. Have a look at the total open interest. It's all the way down there. What's happened to price? It's plummeted. That's one of the reasons that we look at total open interest every day. It gives you an edge, and I'm all about giving you as many edges as I can. You need it. The crypto market is so volatile. Liquidations can also help us out a lot, especially understanding the strength and direction of particular movements. 3.76 billion was liquidated over the past 24 hours. That's a lot. 393,972 traders were liquidated. That basically means they lost their money. It's important to understand that people who engage in this kind of operation, they're actually borrowing and they're seeking greater returns. Liquidation doesn't occur with spot trades. That's really important. It only occurs with options, futures, and derivatives. Let's have a look at liquidations across the past 12 hours. 80% of liquidations were long liquidations. Now here we go. This is the market basically having bad food. It's got food poisoning. $3.22 billion worth of longs was liquidated and 360.4 million in shorts. You know that we've seen days that don't get above 300 million. We can see a lot of positions were taken out of the market. More on this later. When we look at total crypto market cap, what we can see is a very, very strong downward spike. Very strong. There are reasons for this that I can explain from a technical perspective. It's fascinating to see that the market had a very strong support line in here. When it got broken, literally all of the people that were long across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, everything, they got liquidated and they had to sell out of the position. This is what caused this really long tail rejection down here. The other thing to bear in mind, when you buy the falling knife, whenever we see something like this, just steel yourself, strengthen yourself for the position that it could take more than 1 day. In the past, it can take up to 7 days. Just bear that in mind. Look back to past price action and just be prepared. That's important. Then you don't get into that position of saying, I bought the dip, but it kept on dipping. There is always room in these kind of situations for panic to settle in. If it does, you want to be able to take advantage of it if you possibly can. And if you're just dollar cost averaging in, wow, you're fantastic. What a way to do it. Well done. This is exactly how dollar cost averaging should occur, and what influencers never talk about. Dollar cost averaging in big red, blood red market days is the way to go. It is the single most profitable strategy that you could ever have if you're a long-term investor. That's a very important gem, and one that very few, if any, people talk about. I don't know why. It's so important, and it's so logical as well. Let's have a look at the top 7. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Coin, XRP, Solana, and DOGE and Polkadot below there. Let's have a look at the greatest 24-hour percent gainers. Rev, Phantom, and now we're getting into this problematic situation of coin market caps calculations going bananas. The next one is Zen, followed by EOS, followed by Perp and TFUEL, ICP and Algo. Let's have a look at the greatest gainers over the past 7 days. They are Rev, Phantom, Solana, Arweave, IOTA, Kusama, Polkadot, and FTT. No, not Polkadot. That's down 13%. Sorry about that. Naughty coin market cap. It's actually FTT and Elrond. Okay, let's check out the greatest losses over the past 24 hours. My goodness, look at this. 2% loss and 20% loss and 1%. Coin market cap has had a meltdown, literally. What are we looking at? Basically HOT taking out the number 1, Uni taking out the number 2, CELO, and then what? Oh my goodness, they're just everywhere. Okay, Kusama, AVAX, Waves, and Flow. These things do happen, but it's an interesting thing to note, isn't it? We noticed this before in another episode. Coin market cap went bananas and all its percent calculations went out, and there was a retracement not long after that. I'm going to keep my eye on this as a forward indicator of potential corrections. Okay, largest 7-day percent gainers, and in this case losers: PancakeSwap, Clayton, AMP, AVAX, XDC, Quant, Telcoin, MATIC, and SHIB. Turning now to Binance derivatives, you can see 24-hour trading volume, $179.2 billion. It typically is around the 60 to 80 mark. Wow. Who has $179 billion to liquidate a market? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Must be the top end of town. 24-hour open interest, 8.4 billion. We can typically see up to 12 billion, 11, 10. That's kind of average, but that 24-hour trading volume is off the charts. We can see Bitcoin, the perpetuals, the change in the price of the contract over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin is down about 14%. Ethereum down around 15.2, which means Ethereum has more negative price pressure than does Bitcoin. Turning to the other perpetuals, what we can see is NEAR has positive price momentum at 27.4%. Everything else is very, very negative. Look at that, all double digit. This is typically signifying a blow off bottom. That is not a bad thing. And we can see the greatest losses here. Tomo, TLM, we've always got to be aware of trading volume as well. SXP, Acro, Dodo, Bell, well, the list is far too long to read out. We'd be reading out every single thing, wouldn't we? This is a hallmark of a market that's just had a meltdown. This is what it looks like. It's very good to keep your eye on this particular page. The link is in the description of this video. Having a look at the Bitcoin futures market at the perpetuals, look at this, billions and billions of dollars here. That's massive shorting that's going on. Well over 30-40 billion dollars worth just currently. Let's have a look at the futures. Wow, everything is negative, as to be expected. Looking towards the top 33 cryptos from Binance, what we can see here is everything plummeted when Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin's gravity. You're seeing Bitcoin's gravity, what it does to the alts. It pulls them all down. And really interestingly, algo is bucking the trend. That is great to see. You always want to try and identify the ones that are escaping gravity. They will be pulled down eventually, but in between they can be fantastic buys. We can see over the past 14 days, the top rated cryptos are Sol, Algo, FTT, Filecoin, ETH, DOT, Bitcoin Cash, TRX, Link, LTC, Atom, XTZ, ICP, and then Bitcoin. Let's turn to an analysis of Bitcoin. Now you can see Rule 45. It literally plays out to the per second basis. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Turning across to Bitcoin options. Bitcoin options expiring at the end of the month. Total open interest 58,612.10. Put call ratio 0.52. 42,000 is the max pain price, where the majority of the options expire worthless. The max pain price has not shifted from yesterday, even with this substantial decrease in price across Bitcoin. Rule 131, beware the 7-day bull dip. Bull dip. What that basically means is that when prices come down really harshly, they can come down for multiple days, between 3, 5, and 7. Just keep this in your mind. It could make you a lot of money. Having a look at our psychological safety chart, we can see that the extreme greed of 79 that we registered yesterday has become neutral at 47. We also note the 3.2 billion long liquidation and the short liquidation totaling around 3.72 billion occurred just now. We see that the max pain level has not changed. The interesting thing to note here, I would like to try and explain what I believe happened. There was really substantial support around the $50,000 mark. What happened when price was pushed down through that, through billions and billions and billions worth of dollars, a concerted effort by the top end of town to collapse the price of Bitcoin. This resulted in margins being called and positions being closed out, and this really long wick forming. They went stop hunting basically. Turning to Bitcoin technical analysis, we can see Bitcoin is currently trading at 45,511. What I was referring to here was this very strong support, and it's really interesting that El Salvador, Bitcoin became legal tender, and then all of a sudden we get this massive sell-off. It's like, for example, the IMF and the powers to be didn't like El Salvador going outside the monetary system and wanted to send a message. I don't know if that's true, but it makes for a great story. Could be true. Then what we saw as it passed through this level, the liquidations, the short stops, basically the stops that were in the long positions had to be closed, and that created this spike downwards. There was a lot of panic in the market because so much volume came through. $3.72 billion worth of volume. That's an outrageous amount. They were deliberately trying to tank the market. The other thing to bear in mind, we always note the fear and greed index. When it gets too high, it's literally always followed by a correction of some sort. Market commentators across the world were expecting something to happen. For example, a retracement down to here, but nobody expected this to happen. I've not yet found one source that said, oh, we expected this to happen for this reason. It simply wasn't the case. It caught everybody off guard. But hey, that's crypto, that's what it does. We also noticed that the stable coins were in the top percentage of losers on the 7-day and 24-hour marks for quite a few days in a row. That always foretells a sign of some bit of a shakeout. But the shakeouts are just ways that we can buy at layers. They're not really anything. This is a little bit different. This is a very big shakeout, but I think it will be short-lived. We have to keep our eye on it, but I think it was literally that there's so many longs in the market. They've all been shaken out now. It will require maybe a day or two to restore confidence back into the market. So that's why you don't have to worry too much about just grabbing whatever price there is. There's probably more bargains, but if you do your layer buys down as far as you can go, which is what I always suggest you do, that can make very, very profitable dollar cost averaging. It's really hard to develop the patience required to get excited over a delayed fill. Delayed fills are by nature delayed. They don't happen instantly. People were seeing the price go up from say 46,000 to 53,000 and saying, Ken, I've missed the position at buying on the layer. It's all over. I'll never buy cheaper. That's actually what the market wants you to think. The market is always moving in a wave. It's always going up and then down, up and then down. The thing is, we've come up so fast, so quickly, that a wave down was to be expected. This was a particularly violent wave down, no question about it. But if you were following the discipline of buying as many levels and layers down as you could, make sure that the fees don't eat you alive. That's really, really important. Then you would have done really, really well just recently. And you just think about the longer term perspective. You're in the best market in the world. The price momentum is to the upside. It's a bull market. All is good, especially the long-term prospects of Bitcoin. There's only ever 21 million it's programmed. They are going to become increasingly scarce and they will be bid up. That's why people are estimating $10 million of Bitcoin not too many years into the future. Let's turn our analysis now to Ethereum. Looking at the futures market in the perpetuals, we can see $20+ billion just on Binance. There is a lot of short behavior. That's why I was saying don't worry too much about thinking that this is the bottom. There's a lot of momentum building up on the short side. It could last a couple of days, maybe 3, maybe 5. Just keep that in mind. Okay, let's have a look at the traditional futures. We can see they're short. Turning to the options, expiring at the end of the month. Total open interest 391,314. Put call ratio 0.59. Max pain price, where the majority of the options expire worthless, 25.60. That's the same as yesterday. We can see that the flippening hasn't occurred. Ethereum is 48.4% of the market value of Bitcoin. Since EIP 1559 was introduced, 813.6 million of ETH has been burned. Let's have a look at Ethereum's technicals. As I was explaining yesterday, we'll probably end up finding support around these particular barriers. It seems the price has been relatively well supported here above the current price, 33.27. We can see also that there is the capability to wick downwards. So it's really important that you risk off to a degree. That doesn't mean sell, but that means if you're buying in layers, to try and spread your layers out a little bit. If you think that maybe a couple of days, 3 to 5 days of this is coming, you'll be much better prepared than most people. Most people think that the dip is only 1 day. That's why you get so many memes about, I bought the dip, and how much did you make? Negative 30%. Because the dips are longer than 1 day. They can be 3, 5, 7, 9 days, depending. But if you think about 3 to 5, I think that would be quite reasonable. Let's see what happens. Things could reverse around pretty quickly. We'll be keeping our eye on all the technical price action. Let's have a look at the top 8. We can see Bitcoin coming down to support here. It's just a little bit below it currently. Ethereum is shaping up much better. It's above this support line. Ethereum is currently trading at 33.10. If we look at Cardano, Cardano is basically back to support at 20, well, literally 2,289. It's just a little bit above that support. These are all weekly analyses. Binance Coin, we can see there's a degree of support here at 395.70. If we look at XRP, the next real level of support would be around 94.94. If we look at Doge is coming into a support level at around 24.55. It's just a little bit below that number at the moment, but we can see it's rejected going down lower. DOT, the level of support is 24.09. With Solana continues to do really well. Its level of support is 130.11. That's just coming back to that initial or the closest support line. If we have a look at Engine Coin, the next major level of support is 137.9. Holo, next major level of support is 0.007992. If we look at Loopring, the next major level of support is 30.83. For MATIC, it's 1.178. If we have a look at Mana, Decentraland, the next major level of support is 75.75. For Icon, it's currently at a pretty good support level, but the next one below that is 961. Harmony 1, we could say the next level of very good support would be 10.647. For NANO, the next level of support would be pretty much $5 even. Let's have a look at VRA. VRA is currently just above support. Support is 0.02997169. AMP is just above support, but probably the better line would be 0.04484312. If we look at Multivac, MTV, we can see support coming in at the 0.0122.528 mark and the 0.0082.887. With Phantom is doing really well. It has support at 1.2200 and 0.9156. XDC has support at 1169 and 0993. Litecoin has support at 161 and 144.80. VET VeChain has support literally around its current price now, and also at 0.10109. Quant is doing really well as well. It has support at exactly a little bit under the current price. It also has support at 254.80 and also 190.70. Let's have a look at Luna. Luna support levels $17.73 and $13.79. AVAX, two support levels $33.70 and $28.89. CELO, $3, $4.97 and $2.942. It's always good to use exact precision. It allows you to fill buy orders far more effectively. HBAR, what we're seeing is that the current price is literally at support right now. It's 25.18. We can say that's at support. A lower support level is 22.72. Having a look at Atom, support below at 17.76 and 15.04. Having a look at Kasama, KSM, support levels 305.70 and 274.10. Having a look at THETA, THETA support levels 5.991 and 5.327. Axie Infinity, support levels 42.44, 18.76. This is very good if you think about wicks down. I think Axie Infinity is an incredibly good project. It's certainly pulling in the dollars. Let's have a look at the graph. The graph currently trading at 79.69. Two levels of support, key support, 78.88 and 71.71. When we look at TFUEL, two levels of support that are quite strong, 31.07 and 28.36. Looking at Civic, CBC, 43.95 and 36.47. ANKR, 0.8929 and 0.7611. Looking at Ocean, 65.94 and 58.91. Looking at SNX, Synthetics, 9.205 and 8.446. Looking at ERN, 11.874 and 10.530. Checking out Digibyte, 0.5279 and 0.4890. On the weekly, CAR-TC support level 59.82 and 50.73. Looking at Zilliqa, ZIL, 8.8732 and 83.64. Having a look at Chili's, CHZ, 28.62 and 27.10. RLC support levels 3.445 and 3.029. Basic Attention Token, BAT, 68.68 and 61.32. Arweave, AR, 29.18 and 18.96. They're major. They also have minor support levels between them. Tezos, XTZ, 3.857 and 3.274. Audio, 1.640 and 1.291. Our community members know Rule 307 really well. Excitement is a delayed fill. You get filled every time you place a buy order and price comes to you. Delayed fills are really the hallmark or cornerstone of profitability. I'm really impressed with our community. So many people talked about getting their buy orders filled and how excited they were. Well done. Comparing where the market was just 24 hours ago and where the market is right now, you've just done exceptionally well. You've applied the discipline. The discipline is what investing and trading is all about. Congratulations and well done. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from and if you have any questions. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. And don't forget to hit the bell notification icon as content comes out at various times through the day or night. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Ooh, hang on a second. I have a little thing I'd like to share with you. Please don't blame yourself for things you can't control. Sometimes it's just not your fault. If you're feeling bad about what just happened inside the market, don't worry too much about it. It's just realistically, that's what crypto does. You don't get incredible returns without this incredible volatility. Take care, and we'll talk again in the next episode. So bye for now.